The identity and significance of Tarshish in the Bible have fascinated theologians, historians, and scholars for centuries. Often associated with maritime trade, wealth, and alliances, Tarshish holds a mysterious yet prominent role in biblical prophecy and history. Some interpretations suggest that Tarshish may correspond to modern Spain or Britain, offering a geographical and cultural lens through which to explore its prophetic importance. One of the most notable mentions of Tarshish is found in Ezekiel 38:13, where it is linked to trade and end-times alliances, further amplifying its enigmatic nature. In the Bible, Tarshish is repeatedly associated with maritime trade and wealth. For example, in 1 Kings 10:22, the Bible describes King Solomon's fleet of ships bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks from Tarshish every 3 years. This depiction of vast wealth and exotic goods paints a picture of Tarshish as a powerful trade hub. Similarly, Isaiah 60:9 refers to the ships of Tarshish bringing goods to glorify the Lord, emphasizing its role as a significant maritime power in biblical times. These references contribute to the view that Tarshish represented a distant and prosperous land, deeply involved in the exchange of valuable commodities. The geographical identity of Tarshish remains a subject of debate. Some scholars suggest it could be Tartessos, an ancient city in southern Spain known for its wealth and trade connections. Others argue that Tarshish might represent Britain, particularly because of its later historical role as a global maritime power. This association stems partly from interpretations of Ezekiel 27:12, which lists Tarshish as a trading partner of Tyre, dealing in silver, iron, tin, and lead, materials historically abundant in Britain. While definitive evidence remains elusive, both Spain and Britain fit the biblical description of a wealthy and distant maritime region. Ezekiel 38:13 brings Tarshish into the prophetic spotlight by connecting it to end-times alliances. The verse states, "Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish and all her villages will say to you, 'Have you come to plunder? Have you gathered your hoards to loot, to carry off silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods and seize much plunder?'" Here Tarshish is depicted as a merchant power observing or questioning the intentions of God, a leader prophesied to attack Israel in the last days. This role suggests that Tarshish, possibly representing a modern nation, will remain influential in global affairs and may align with other powers in the unfolding of eschatological events. The connection between Tarshish and Britain finds further support in the phrase, "and all her villages," or young lions in some translations, which some interpret as a reference to colonial or allied nations historically linked to Britain. This interpretation aligns with Britain's maritime empire and its alliances with other nations, particularly those in the English-speaking world. If this understanding is correct, Ezekiel's prophecy could indicate a coalition of nations aligned with Tarshish in the end times, potentially playing a role in the geopolitical dynamics surrounding Israel. Another intriguing aspect of Tarshish is its symbolic significance. Beyond its geographical and historical implications, Tarshish often symbolizes wealth, commerce, and the far-reaching influence of trade. This symbolism extends to its prophetic role, where its mention in eschatological contexts emphasizes the interconnectedness of nations and the economic dimensions of end-times events. The inclusion of Tarshish in these prophecies underscores the enduring relevance of trade and commerce in shaping global alliances and conflicts. The prophecies concerning Tarshish also invite reflection on its moral and spiritual dimensions. In Jonah 1:3, the prophet Jonah attempts to flee to Tarshish, seeking to escape God's call. This act of defiance highlights Tarshish as a place representing distance and separation from God's purposes. However, Jonah's story ultimately demonstrates God's sovereignty in the futility of trying to evade his will. This narrative adds a layer of spiritual meaning to Tarshish, portraying it as both a literal and metaphorical destination that contrasts human disobedience with divine authority. The prophetic role of Tarshish in the end times carries significant implications for modern readers. If Tarshish does represent Spain, Britain, or another maritime power, its involvement in biblical prophecies suggests a continued relevance in global events, particularly concerning Israel and the Middle East. The mention of Tarshish alongside Sheba and Dedan, regions often associated with modern Saudi Arabia and neighboring areas, indicates a network of nations observing or participating in pivotal eschatological developments. This interplay between ancient prophecies and contemporary geopolitics invites believers to consider the unfolding of God's plans in the modern world. Furthermore, the story of Tarshish challenges readers to reflect on their own spiritual journeys. Just as Jonah's attempted flight to Tarshish symbolizes resistance to God's call, individuals today may find themselves pursuing metaphorical Tarshishes, distant places or goals that distract from divine purposes. The narrative encourages believers to trust in God's sovereignty and align their actions with His will, recognizing that true fulfillment lies in obedience and faith. In the broader context of biblical history, the frequent mention of Tarshish highlights the interconnected nature of ancient civilizations. Whether through trade, cultural exchange, or military alliances, Tarshish serves as a reminder of the global scope of God's plan. Its role in the Bible reflects not only the historical realities of the ancient world, but also the spiritual truths that transcend time. The persistence of questions surrounding Tarshish's identity and significance invites ongoing exploration and discovery, enriching the study of Scripture. Additionally, the prophetic focus on Tarshish underscores the importance of preparedness and vigilance in the face of unfolding events. Believers are encouraged to remain steadfast in faith, trusting that God's purposes will prevail. The inclusion of Tarshish in eschatological narratives serves as a call to recognize the interconnectedness of human actions and divine plans, urging individuals to live with awareness and purpose. In conclusion, the prophecies and references to Tarshish in the Bible offer a rich tapestry of historical, geographical, and spiritual insights. Whether interpreted as ancient Spain, Britain, or another maritime power, Tarshish embodies themes of wealth, trade, and divine purpose that resonate across time. Its inclusion in end times prophecies underscores its enduring significance in God's plan for humanity, reminding readers of the interconnectedness of nations and the unfolding of His sovereign will. As believers explore the mysteries of Tarshish, they are invited to deepen their faith and trust in the God who holds history and the future in His hands.